Hello students, today we will study the new topic of our subject electromagnetic field theory, that is the Cartesian coordinate system. In previous sessions I have already told you the different types of coordinate systems, their parameters, and we have discussed the applications of the different types of Cartesian coordinate, cylindrical coordinate and spherical coordinate system. Now today we will see the Cartesian coordinate system. Now the Cartesian coordinate system is the main coordinate system in the electromagnetic field theory. It is the base of all the coordinate system. Basically, you all have studied Cartesian coordinate system in your schools in class 10th, 11th, 12th under the coordinate geometry section, where you have studied the three axes x, y, z. So in general, there are only two axes, x and y axis, which you plots on your graphs. But in the later on in 11th and 12th standard, you have studied another topics of coordinate geometry which contains all the three axes. Now the figure which you are seeing in front of your screen shows the three axes x, y, z axis. All these axes have their own unit vectors which I have written over there: ax unit vector, ay unit vector and az unit vector for the axis x, y and z. The unit vector is generally shown by the cap which I have put over there, and in the right hand side I have mentioned the range of the parameters. Now in Cartesian coordinate system, basically there are three types of parameters: x, y, z. These parameters are generally the ranges, or I can say that these parameters are generally the axis x, y and z axis. Now if we study about their ranges, so every axis starts at minus infinity and ends at infinity. So there is no limitation of the numbers on the axis. It can be as much long as you think, and x, y, z axis. So if we talk about the range of parameters, then x, y, z axis all starts with minus infinity and goes to positive infinity. So I have mentioned on the right hand side in the box the range of parameters, and you can also see that I have written over there ax cap, ay cap and az cap are the unit vectors. Now basically if we talk about what is the unit vector, you all know that unit vector is generally vector divided by the magnitude of a vector. For example, suppose if you are having a vector 2i plus 3j plus 4k, then what will be its unit vector? It will be vector 2i plus 3j plus 4k divided by its magnitude. So how we will find out the magnitude of any vector? It will be root of 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square. Okay, so it will now you calculate the magnitude of that vector and divided by that magnitude. So unit vector, I have defined unit vector and I have written over there that unit vector is generally the vector upon that the magnitude of a vector. Now unit vector in direction of a. Suppose if somebody asks you that find out the unit vector in the direction of a, and they have given the a is the vector, then how will you find out? So I have written in the step 3 that unit vector in the direction of a cap is equals to a vector upon magnitude of vector. Now from this result we can easily find out that if we cross multiply this step, I am talking about the step which is written over there, a in suffix capital A cap is equal to a vector upon mod of a vector. So if we cross this equation or cross multiply this equation, then we get a vector is equals to mod of a vector into a unit vector. So from this formula we can easily conclude that the vector is equals to its magnitude into its direction. Magnitude is shown by mod of a vector and direction is shown by the unit vector. So we have already studied the simple or basic definition of a vector in the previous classes, that is in 9th standard and 10th standard. You have already studied that vector has both magnitude and direction, and the formula which is written in front of you is already showing that vector has both magnitude and direction. So we have proved over there that vector has magnitude and direction. So now you don't need to learn this concept that what is the difference between vector and scalar, or what is a scalar or what is vector. So we have easily concluded from the mathematical expression that the vector, if we talk about vector, it is equals to the multiplication of its magnitude and direction. So we can easily says that vector has both magnitude and direction. Now the last point which I have written in the slide is that the direction of a unit vector is in that direction where parameter increases. So the direction of unit vector will be always in that direction where parameter increases. For example, if we talk about all the three axes, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, and if we are moving in the positive direction of all the three axes, suppose if we are at axis y, and if we moves in the positive direction of y, so our unit vector will be in the increasing direction. So the unit vector is in that direction where the parameter increases. So if we talk about the three axes, we can easily see or conclude that our parameter increases in the positive direction. So I have written I have already mentioned by the arrows on the axis that these three x arrows, that is which I have mentioned near ax vector, ay vector and az vector, so these arrows are showing the direction of a unit vector. So we can easily conclude that the direction of a unit vector is in that direction where parameter increases. Now next we talk about in the next slide that how we can name the axis. So for naming the axis, there are two rules used in this our subject, electromagnetic field theory, that is left hand rule and right hand rule. So we will always use right hand rule. You can also use left hand rule. So we will use right hand rule till the unit number 5 for naming the axis. Now what are the rules for naming the axis under right hand rule is, I have mentioned over there, axis should be in the anti-clockwise direction. So we already named the axis in the anti-clockwise direction. So if you put up your palm in front of you, your thumb points in the direction of the third axis, and when you curl the fingers, on the palm, that these curling fingers will decide the two other parameters. So the curling fingers will decide that we are going from x to y, then thumb will decide that z is the direction which is coming out from the screen. Okay, so if we goes from x to y, suppose you put up your palm in front of you, the fingers will gives the direction of x-axis. Now when you curl the fingers over your palm, it will gives the direction of a y-axis, and the thumb which is pointing towards you will gives the direction of a z-axis. So this is the right hand thumb rule. I have already mentioned over there all the 2 points, and I have given 3 examples so that you can easily learn or know the concept of a right hand rule. Now in the under the right hand rule heading, you are seeing that there are x, y, z. I have written the axis over there. So this is giving the direction of anti-clockwise which we are using in the right hand thumb rule. That is, we have to always follow the order. We cannot go from z to y, we cannot go from y to x. We have to go from x to y, y to z and z to x. We have to follow this order only. If we do not follow this order, we cannot apply the right hand thumb rule, and you will always mark axis wrongly in the paper. So you always follow the order I have written over there and mentioned by the arrows, that x to y, y to z. That is, your curling fingers will always follow the order of x to y to z, and z to x. And third axis will be given by your thumb. You can also learn this concept by the cross product, that is x cross y is equals to z, y cross z is equal to x, z cross x is equal to y. These three cross products are maintaining the orders, and you can easily see that xy, the curling fingers, so z will give you on z will give the direction of a thumb, yz are the curling fingers, then x will be on the thumb direction, zx on the curling fingers, then y will be in the direction of thumb. So you can easily see I have given three examples over there. If you apply the right hand rule on the first example, if you apply the right hand rule on the first example, you can easily see that if you put your palm on the x axis and if you curl the fingers, then your fingers will give the direction of y axis and your thumb will give the direction of z axis. So I have also mentioned over there in the first figure, I have mentioned in the brackets x to y fingers, second figure y x to y fingers है ना. So the z axis will give the direction, that is your thumb will is on the uppermost part, ठीक. And y to z fingers, so y to z fingers means y to z you are curling the fingers, so your thumb will point in the direction of z, x, and your x will be the inside the copy, or I can say that right now inside the screen. So I have put over there two checks for all of you. You can do it for x cross y and z cross x. So thank you all.